Good morning, YouTube. This is Eric in the garden this morning. Really nice day across eastern North Carolina, another hot one. We're expecting temperatures into the 90s. It sounds like a broken record. The one thing we have seen is rain. If you've watched my videos over the last couple weeks, the roses have always looked, pretty decent because of that drip irrigation system we have set up. And I can't speak enough on that. I haven't had to water. I've been able to go away on vacation. I don't have to ask neighbors to help me out, so definitely recommend that. But the point was, if you've watched any of our videos, the lawn was looking pretty parched, and it's looking a lot better now. The big thing that we've done in the garden the last couple days is edging and weeding. And this is a little bit of an experiment. I'm curious what you folks do. These first three beds, the older bed there, or the newest bed there, this bed here, and my oldest bed, which is here, we used a spade shovel, a straight spade shovel, and we edged that. It's time consuming. It might have taken a good half an hour to do this. And the whole idea is, it's almost like a trench around the garden. So any of these weeds are not going to grow through air to get to your garden. So this is going to keep any of the centipede lawn from encroaching on the bed itself. It looks really sharp. I may prefer this in the long run. It lasts about a year. The problem is, again, it takes a good half an hour to get done each bed, but all I have to do is run the lawnmower along that. I don't really even need to string trim it at all. This bed here already had railroad ties, so I didn't have to worry about that. But my question for you is, what kind of edging do you use? That's doing it by hand. This is with a weed whacker. From a distance, it looks decent. It's not nearly as deep. I don't know on this video if you can tell the depth of that edging to what a string trimmer would do. This is what landscapers usually do, much less time consuming. You do have to do this at least every other week, if not every week. So there's going to be more maintenance with this, but it takes just a couple minutes to run a string trimmer around the edge of the garden. So there's your comparison. On the right, hand dug. Should last all summer with little maintenance other than me just running the lawnmower along the edge. And then this, much quicker in terms of initially doing it, but I'm going to have to maintain it throughout the year. So I'm just kind of curious what everybody does with their edging. You can see all the beds have been edged. I'm just about done with the summer maintenance. The other little thing I did yesterday, I don't have a lot of weeds. I've been keeping up on that with either doing Roundup well away from them. But yesterday I took the weed whacker, and I noticed on some of the YouTube videos I follow, they just hit these weeds with a string trimmer. So just kind of keeping them down. So do I have a couple weeds here and there? Yes, but overall the garden is looking quite nice for the midsummer bloom. Speaking of some blooms, we're in another flush. This is Baby's Blush. That's a newer rose from John Smith. One I'm really happy with, Mr. Caleb. It throws a lot of sprays of red. This is a nice red hybrid tea rose, similar to Let Freedom Ring and also Veteran's Honor. These two are newer bushes, that's why they're smaller. Similar in terms of coloring and growth habit. Very, very vigorous growing bush. The one difference between Let Freedom Ring, Veteran's Honor, and this one, Mr. Caleb, is Mr. Caleb seems to have more sprays or clusters of blooms. When you compare that to Let Freedom Ring, of course here's a cluster there, but by and large most of them bloom single rows to a stem. So that is a little bit different with that. So I'll have to do some deadheading here in the next week or so once this flush is over with. This is one of the newer gardens, that's why the bushes are smaller. This is Signature. That's on Fortuniana rootstock, and this is Louise Estes. So the garden's just about complete. I've got room for 2 more roses there when we get rid of those tomatoes next year. When done, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds with 6 roses each. So what I'm aiming for is 42, almost all hybrid tea roses. I have 1 old garden rose, but the other 41 will be hybrid teas, and you can see they're growing well. This Gemini is 4 or 5 feet. That Hot Princess and what is that, Veteran's Honor in the background, is approaching 7 feet tall. So good growth on them, especially for the middle part of the summer, looking pretty good. And again, I have not hand watered in a month, so the drip irrigation system is working out quite nicely. So comment below, what kind of edging do you do? I know some folks have materials like this in terms of railroad ties or bricks. Some people hand do it, and some people use a string trimmer. As always, I appreciate the feedback on the channel. If you know any rose societies, please share these videos with them. This is a learning experience, so comment below, what things do you do in the garden, and we'll do another video here in a couple days to update you on how the garden is doing here in Eastern North Carolina. Have a great day, everybody.